story points, and ideal time. Story point values are used to represent relative or comparative effort to complete tasks, whereas ideal time normally describes the number of hours a Scrum team member works exclusively on developing the project's deliverables, without including any time spent on other activities or work that is outside the project. Estimation criteria make it easier for the Scrum team to estimate effort and enable them to evaluate and address inefficiencies when necessary. The last mandatory tool is estimation methods. For a good understanding of this tool, please refer to the discussion on it in the Estimate User Stories process. The mandatory output of this process is Effort Estimated Task List. The Effort Estimated Task List is a list of tasks associated with the committed user stories included in a sprint. Typically, the accuracy of estimates varies with team skills. Estimated effort is expressed in terms of estimation criteria agreed on by the team. The Effort Estimated Task List is used by the Scrum team during sprint planning meetings to create the sprint backlog and sprint burndown chart. It is also used to determine when the team needs to reduce its commitment or can take on additional user stories during sprint planning.
The implement phase is related to the execution of the tasks and activities to create a project's product. These activities include creating various deliverables, conducting daily stand-up meetings, and grooming, which in turn include reviewing, fine-tuning, and regularly updating the product backlog at regular intervals. The Scrum body of knowledge says that the phase implement can be applied to portfolios, programs, and/or projects in any industry, products, services, or any other results to be delivered to stakeholders, and projects of any size or complexity. We need to throw more light on the overview of the implement phase process. Let's understand them one by one. The first process and sequence is create deliverables. In this process, the Scrum team works on the tasks in the sprint backlog to create sprint deliverables. A Scrum board is often used to track the work and activities being carried out. Issues and problems being faced by the Scrum team could be updated in an impediment log. Conduct daily stand-up is the second process followed. In this process, every day a highly focused, time-boxed meeting is conducted, referred to as the daily stand-up meeting. This is the forum for the Scrum team to update each other on their progress and any impediments they may be facing. The last process in the implementation phase is Groom Prioritized Product Backlog. In this process, the prioritized product backlog is continuously updated and maintained. A prioritized product backlog review meeting may be held in which any changes or updates to the backlog are discussed and incorporated into the prioritized product backlog as appropriate. The review and retrospect phase is concerned with reviewing the deliverables and the work that has been done, and determining ways to improve the practices and methods used to do project work. In large organizations, the review and retrospect processes may also include convening Scrum of Scrums meetings. Review and retrospect, as defined in a Guide to the Scrum Body of Knowledge, or SBOC Guide, is applicable to portfolios, programs, and/or projects in any industry. Products, services, or any other results to be delivered to stakeholders, projects of any size or complexity. Moving on, let's now have an overview of the review and retrospect phase processes, which are as follows. First of all, we will be talking about demonstrate and validate sprint. In this process, the Scrum team demonstrates the sprint deliverables to the product owner and relevant stakeholders in a sprint review meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to secure approval and acceptance of the product or service by the product owner. The next process is retrospect sprint. In this process, the Scrum Master and Scrum team meet to discuss the lessons learned throughout the sprint. This information is documented as lessons learned which can be applied to future sprints. Often, as a result of this discussion, there may be agreed actionable improvements or updated Scrum Guidance Body recommendation. The release phase emphasizes delivering the accepted deliverables to the customer and identifying, documenting, and internalizing the lessons learned during the project. The term product in the SBOC guide may refer to a product, service, or other deliverable. Scrum can be applied effectively to any project in any industry, from small projects or teams with as few as 6 members to large, complex projects with up to several hundred team members. Let's see the release phase processes, which are as follows. The first process is ship deliverables. In this process, accepted deliverables are delivered or transitioned to the relevant stakeholders. A formal working deliverables agreement documents the successful completion of the sprint. The second process is retrospect project. In this process, which completes the project, organizational stakeholders and Scrum core team members assemble to retrospect the project and identify, document, and internalize the lessons learned. Often, these lessons lead to the documentation of agreed actionable items to be implemented in future projects. We have a diagram here to show the mandatory inputs, tools, and outputs for processes in the release phase. So that's it. In the introductory video on the release phase, we could understand what release as a phase in Scrum means and the necessary processes involved in it. We look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks for watching.